PDC is busy enough as it is, but being world champ and being pulled, they want you one arm over there, the other arm over there, everybody wants a piece of you. Now, once did I look at the trophy until I needed to hit the double five after I missed 11 doubles. I don't know if it'll be easier to win tournaments, or I think I've got a bigger target on my back now. They done it to me out in Ireland last year, and that put me rock bottom. If you'd asked me then, I was just quitting, finishing. You live and learn, and I've got another opportunity in darts, so that's why I don't want to waste this opportunity, because sort of wasted my rugby career.
Right, Gerwyn, great pleasure, mate, to welcome you on the show. World champion. What's it feel like?
To be honest, I haven't had much time to think about it. I've been doing a lot of stuff like this, a lot of media stuff, and I've still been doing a bit of work, doing a bit of property out, so I haven't had time to sit down and really think about it. So to be honest, I don't think it's sunk in yet, but yeah, it feels good, feels amazing.
Life won't be the same for you, will it? You're going to go everywhere.
Yeah, that's the thing, is with the PDC, it's busy enough as it is, but being world champ and being pulled, they want you one arm over there, the other arm over there, everybody wants a piece of you, and yeah, it's going to be hectic, but I'm enjoying it.
But not only like world champion singles, world champion doubles as well. No, you won that.
Yeah, I carried Johnny in that one as
I
well.
know. I think people have forgot that, haven't they?
No, I said, yeah, Johnny was brilliant in our tournament, and I think we were second favourites all the way through, and obviously Holland went out, and me and Johnny went on to win out, which was fantastic. But yeah, it's been brilliant, a good year for Wales, I think, as well.
Now that you've won the World Darts Championship, right, and #1 in the world, people have kind of looked you up on Google and Wikipedia and everything, but you played to a high standard in rugby, so tell us what your rugby career was.
Yeah, I started from a young age, Markham mini rugby, and went from there to obviously all the Gwent counties, and then the young Wales under 17s, 18s. I think I missed out on 19s, and then played under 21s, and yeah, from there then I went across Keys to play my first senior season in the Premiership. I had a season there and got picked up by Neath. Went there, spent about 9 seasons, and then I'm about 30 years of age, and I'm back to Cross Keys. Had a little stint with Glasgow, and yeah, but sort of think I missed the boat a little bit. I did train with the Ospreys a little bit as well, and the Dragons, but nothing really come of that. But yeah, like I said, I went to Glasgow six weeks up there, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed that time where it was full-time professional weights and training. I enjoyed that.
So the tournament went well for you, like the World Championship. Semi-final, you were in the double 10, like it was. Yeah. It didn't look like a miss. When you hit those 10s, does it look bigger, than it does on the boards? Because let's say we hit the sweet spot of a golf ball, yeah, or people say the hole looks smaller when you putt in. Was it the same with you there?
I don't think you see it bigger, or you're in a zone, but it's probably similar to you when you used to kick as 10, and once you've pinged those first couple, there's no pressure on you, and because if you miss one, you've already pinged 4 or 5, so you're thinking, this going to go over, or you're more confident anyway. But yeah, I was just in the zone. I wasn't even thinking, I think I was hitting double 10, 7 or 8 out of 8, and the tops, I think I had 13 out of 13. But I didn't even know that, But if I'd known, then I'd miss the next one. But that's the thing, when you're not thinking about it, then they just tend to go in.
And your averages were brilliant, right? And then, did you feel like when you got into that double, world champion, world #1, pressure get?
Well, it definitely got to me, yeah. the old backside was twitching a bit, but yeah, I didn't think about it all game. The trophy was there, but I've watched the game back once or twice, but I didn't even know in the game that the trophy was there. I walked past it to start with, but now once did I look at the trophy until I needed to hit the double five after I missed 11 doubles. But yeah, it was until that last leg when I knew, if I hit this, I'm world #1, I'm world champ, and that's the thing. I shouldn't think, just throw it there.
But will that now put you in good stead for future tournaments? You've handled it, you've done it. Hopefully it'll be easier now, and you're going to win a lot more.
I don't know if it'll be easier to win tournaments, or I think I've got a bigger target on my back now.
Yeah.
I'd won the Grand Slam and everything, and I had a target on my back, but now it's a bit bigger. But I won't put myself under pressure. After I'd won the Worlds, it felt like, what's next? And I didn't care if I never won another tournament. But then a week later, I was like, I want to win. I want to back this up. I want to win the tournament again next year. I want to win the Premier League that I've never won. I want to win tournaments I haven't won. And I want to win the Grand Slam again. And yeah, But after the day after, I was like, oh, I don't care what happens. But then a week later, I just
we were at home, and everyone's at home, and watching you miss those dubs, we were thinking, oh no, oh no, oh no. And it must have kind of, you must have felt it a little bit, because if he wins the next set, all of a sudden, it's 6-5. And anything could happen then. You played so well. You're thinking, like, one double, that's it. And what I really enjoyed was, right, you walked away, focus.
That's it. I probably wasn't even thinking what score he was on.
No one else could remember.
No, that was a good thing, I think, because even if he had got back to 6-4, I'm under pressure, but I knew I was playing better than him. I knew I was outscoring him, so I knew I'd get more opportunities. But, you know, to miss all those doubles, if I had gone on and lost that, I would have killed me off. Like, it definitely would have killed me off. But like you said, I walked back, you know, about a mile down the aisle and looked at the trophy, walked back and pinged the first start. But, yeah, thankful that winning, because you never know what could have happened.
No. What's it like, you know, going up to the hockey? Talk to me about, like, when there's a crowd there, because it's usually so noisy and there's madness in the alley-pally, and then on this occasion, dead. Well, do you have a preference?
Yeah, obviously I prefer when crowds are there and, you know, the atmosphere is better, they get your adrenaline going and you feed off it. But I also play in floor tournaments where there's no crowd, there's dead silence, you can hear a pin drop, and I seem to play well in those. So when I played in the match play, first tournament without a crowd, that was tough, and I played rubbish. But then the more you do it, you just sort of get used to it. But I definitely prefer the crowds there. And hopefully now when they do come back, they'll ease off a bit on me and stop booing me and just respect me a little bit.
But that's all right though. If you're getting booed, at least you know they're worried about you, aren't they?
Yeah. Well, they done it to me out in Ireland last year, and that put me rock bottom. Honestly, if you'd asked me then, I was just quitting, finishing. But then 24 hours later, you have time to think. I think, oh no, I'm just going to try and ignore them as hard as it is. But it is tough sometimes.
You must have had some abuse in rugby grounds, chucking the ball in, line up.
Oh, definitely. Off the opposition, let alone the crowd, like. But even the other hookers are putting you off. But yeah, there's a bit more pressure on that stage than it is to hit the back ball. Like.
What about Gary Anderson? You had a bit of history with him in the past. Who's is it still a bit of niggler or?
Yeah, obviously whenever we're on stage, we both want to win, and you know I'll never change my style. And even though I know he doesn't like it, and I think I'm half in his head. Well, I'm more in his head than he is in mine anyway. And I think the last 4, 5, 6 times I've played him, I've won. So for some reason, he just can't play me. I think he's beaten before he even got any hockey.
Who do you find the toughest? Because maybe you'll have a bogey player. Who's the toughest opponent?
Well, it obviously used to be Michael. I think I played him 20 times and lost 20, but I think that's starting to turn now. Once I beat him that one time.
Was that Van Gerwyn, that is?
Yeah, Michael Van Gerwyn. So I think the last 8 games, I'm probably up on him, maybe 6-2, 5-3. But yeah, he's the toughest opponent to play because, you know, even though I'm world number 1 on his game, he possibly is still the best in the world. And I appreciate how good he is. So if you're not on your game, if you're not on your toes, then you've lost.
How much practice, you know, say daily or weekly to put in on the board?
But obviously when Premier League is on and this pandemic and the way it is, it's constant for 4 months and I'm home for a day, so I don't really practice, just get match practice. But then when the season opens up a little bit, I'll put maybe an hour and a half in the evenings, so I don't tend to over practice. I just like the match practice, really. So
what do you, just general things, and do you go around the board like on doubles or just practice 10, 16s?
I don't really practice doubles unless I'm playing games against another player, and then we will do something like that. But you know, I'm a strong believer that if you don't score well, you don't get a chance at the doubles. So as long as I'm pinging those treble 20s, treble 19s, I'm going to have chances at doubles. So yeah, I just try and power score as much as I can.
Where did the Iceman nickname come from?
Oh, every time I get answer this, my mate loves it because I keep mentioning him. My mate who travels with me a lot now, John, he just said, oh, go the Iceman Price, it sort of rhymes. And then said, oh, you got to have ice, baby. So he thinks I owe him a percentage or whatever I earned. Like, so. But yeah, my mate John made it up and I've stuck with it since.
Right, there must be a time we think, right, because you're a professional rugby player, then you were darting as well. When did you realise, right, that's it, dart is my livelihood now. I've got to knock the rugby on the head and go and make a professional living out of the darts.
Yeah, well, I got my tour card 2014, so 18 months down the line, and I think it was the back end of 2015. I played in the match play. I beat Michael Smith first round. And then when I played Adrian Lewis, who was playing well at the time, and I beat him over a long format, I knew then I had to make a decision because I could earn a decent living out of darts, at least if I got into the top 32. But from that point, I knew I needed to make a choice, and I chose to stick with the darts.
So going back to your rugby career, you played under 18s for Wales and under 21s for Wales?
I played under 17s, but that was the development. So we had a tournament up in Scotland, just Wales, England, Scotland. We actually won that. And then it was, under 18s. I think I missed out on the 19s, which was FIRA at the time. And then I played 21s. I think it's 20s now, but it was 21s at the time as well.
So what did you, because you played with like Jamie Roberts, James Hook.
Yeah, I said...
all the big names. And did you always play hooker? Because I spoke to Mark Ring and he said he could have played like most positions. He
used to put me at outside half when I was in cross keys, but I was just in a defensive line. But yeah, when I was younger, I played outside half. But as I got a bit older, I'd moved to the front row, packed a few pounds on and started to play hooker. But yeah, I used to enjoy it. And I sort of think I missed the boat a little bit and didn't take rugby as serious as I should have when I was younger. But you know, you live and learn, and like I've got another opportunity in darts now. That's why I don't want to waste this opportunity, because sort of wasted my rugby career, I think.
I think I've heard you kind of been asked this question. Would you swap the Welsh cap for, you know, the World Darts Champion?
I wouldn't swap it for one cap, no. Not just for one.
No.
But if I could go back and they'd say, oh, I'd have 100 caps for Wales or 50 caps for Wales, and then yeah, I probably would change it.
100 caps for Wales, then retire, then become darts world champion.
Yeah, I know I got something to come after. So, but yeah, when I was younger, I always wanted to play rugby, and yeah, I would have loved to play in Millennium Stadium against England or anyone.
Yeah.
But yeah, I missed out.
Have you obviously in rugby clubs there's dartboards area. Have you ever hustled some of the players when you were playing? Obviously, it's too late now.
Yeah, no. When I was in cross keys, there was a player, Phil Williams. I give him an head start like I did with you today, and he beat me as well, and he doesn't ever let that go. So he says I owe him 20 quid as well. So.
So you played cross keys and Neath.
Yeah.
What was it like? Because I played Neath as well for years, way before you. But
yeah.
Did you enjoy your days at the Knoll? They're a mad crowd, aren't they?
Yeah, I loved it. Honest. I was with Cross Keys for a season. I think we lost against Neath like 80 odd, 90 odd points, and I had man of the match in a game where we lost by that many points. And then Roland Phillips was coaching and asked me to go down, so I would spend I think 9 years there. Then I enjoyed it. We won, you know, I think 6 times we won the league, and we won cups, and it was a good time. I never used to stay about much after games, which I regret. I wish I'd stayed and enjoyed it with the boys.
Let me tell you, it's safer. Get out of there quickly.
Yeah, but I did. I enjoyed it. I do miss the Knoll. I spoke to Mike. He still owes me my 100 game cap. So hopefully I'll go down, pick that up sometime when all this is over. But yeah, I miss my time at the Knoll.
Because playing in a team environment, like in rugby, and then playing in a kind of, especially the front row, right? It is a bit like you've got to be aggressive and front up, right? You've got a bit of a pantomime villain kind of name on the darts, you know. Is that because you're like animated and like, go on, or? Yeah,
I think so. But I think it's all stemmed from what you mentioned earlier on, when the incident with me and Gary Anderson, and obviously he still is a big name player, but he has a big following, and when I beat him in that final, all his fans and everybody on Twitter just jumped on the bandwagon. But I've always been the same player, and like you said, it's come from the rugby background where I'm aggressive, and I don't know, I just need to get that adrenaline and that blood flow for me to play the best game. And yeah, they've since that game in 2018, they've just given me hell. But I think I've dealt with it pretty well anyway.
You have, haven't you? You don't smack anyone, do you? It's just like...
Oh, I want to. And a few players as well. But no, as much as sometimes you're on stage and they're on your back. And especially a couple of years ago, I was playing Nathan Aswell in the World Championship. I think I was 2 sets up, first to 3. He come back and beat me. And I could have chucked the table into the crowd. I could have done anything, but yeah, it was tough.
Is there a bit of sledging out there, or there's too many mics and cameras there? You can't sledge each other, can you?
Well, you can say little things and stuff, I suppose you could. But yeah, I've played against players the two talk as they walking back, but they do it on purpose, try and put you off. And yeah, when you're at a double, that's when you give it a little bit larger than normal sometimes, but I enjoy it. Right,
hey, darts, rugby's loss is darts is gain, mate. So congratulations. I might regret this, but do you fancy a game? Because I want to say that I played against a world champion in darts.
Yeah, I'll give you a game. I might give you a chance.
Come on then, let's get on with it.